When it comes to motocross games, I really don't think there is anything currently better at all than MX bikes. And yes, I may be a little bit biased because my whole YouTube video and channel is dedicated towards MX bikes. But I'm 30 now, so I've been around the block just a wee bit. I'm not old, but I'm no by no means a spring chicken anymore. And I've seen a lot of motocross games come and go, and I've played a lot. I believe my very first games were Motocross Madness and Supercross 2000, and I googled the graphics the other day. My God, like talk about looking through rose-tinted glasses. The graphics were horrific, but I had really fond memories of that. Was my first introduction to motocross games, and like Ricky Carmichael's motocross back in the day, MTX Motor Tracks on that as well. What was that on? I think I had it on Game Boy. It might have been on PlayStation as well. No, PSP. I had it on PSP, and so I definitely played the odd game or two. I've played all the MX versus ATV games. I've played all the MX GP games. I've played a little bit of MX Simulator. And I just couldn't get on with it. I didn't like the graphics. I didn't like the physics. I know the games are very similar, but it didn't quite have everything for me. I like the simulation of it, and I like the added kind of difficulty of it. Whereas the MX versus ATV games are just too arcadey for me to get behind. MXGP Pro and 3 were fantastic games. I really liked those. But again, when it comes to what you're looking for in a game is how close can you get to swinging your leg over a bike? How close can you get to the first person feeling of hearing those brakes squeak, hearing everything happen? How much body language can you use and everything that's encompassed within the game of motocross? Because we are an incredibly niche sport. When you talk about numbers, especially here in the UK, hardly anyone knows what motocross is. Is that scrambling thing? Like, yeah, like beating eggs on the side, but like they don't. The average populace likes football, or even MMA is way more popular than motocross. The numbers involved with this sport are dismally low, which is a shame because it's such a fantastic sport. So it's not very well known, and there's not a huge wide audience to kind of pick from. But when it comes to the pool of motocross games, we've had a few over the years to choose from, and MX Bikes is just the one. I've done a very brief amount of motocross riding in my time, but I grew up in a family where my uncle is a very high level, very fast, incredible talent on a motorbike, and some of my friends have been fantastic on a motorbike, and they grew up in the sport. They're way more knowledgeable than me, so I've been around. I've seen some of my favorite riders in the world ride. I've had a very brief introduction into riding myself, and this sport is just absolutely fantastic. I love every aspect of it. I'm so glad I'm involved in it. I love the AMA. I don't watch the GPs admittedly as much, even though I'm British. The AMA has just always been my thing. And every year I love the Supercross, I love the motocross, and there's never quite been a game like MX bikes that have really encapsulated what I love about everything. I like look at this is Linkoping that we're on now, and everything is amazing. This is, in my humble opinion, this is as close as you can get currently to riding a bike in a game, and I absolutely love it. And I understand that compared to the other YouTubers in the MX bike community, I am unbelievably slow. But I don't play that game for this. I play it because after you kind of wind down a little bit after work and you kind of do your thing, you want to just hang with the boys, do a couple of laps, mess about a little bit, maybe do the odd race. And sure, it's great to be good at a game and it's great to win. But the reason I made a switch back to first person was because this just looks amazing, and to play it is even something more amazing to see how the bike reacts under suspension, and to have to sit down, stand up, use independent brakes, ride a lean and weight the outside of the peg. And this has even taught me, as daft as it sounds, about better line choices in real life, and why you should sit down and why you should stand up over here and why you should do this and that. And for that reason alone, I don't think anything, in my opinion, comes close. And if you think something else does, then let me know in the comments. But I genuinely think this is the pinnacle of motocross games right now. Is it the best graphically made game? No. Is it the best online game? No, by no stretch of any imagination. But it's an independently made game. I've been lucky enough to speak to quite a few people that have been around since the start, and this game has come very far. If you look back at the old tracks, look at this Linkoping, for example. Look how beautiful this track is, and I turned off quite a lot of the I turned off quite a lot of the timing and settings just to take it all in, really, and so I'm sure you guys have rode this track a little bit as well, but even in terms of deformation, I don't think many tracks come close to this. Yes, the 20 times of road is a little bit much, and it's just absolutely brutal. But if you were to sit down with someone and say, look how this looks in first person, and everything you encapsulate into a game, so far this is it. And I understand people have gripes of it, they say it's not very well supported, and sometimes the community can be toxic, or whatever it may be. But when you actually get down to the brass tacks of what this is as a game, it is the best, in my opinion. There's nothing that even remotely comes close. It ticks every box of, it makes me feel like I've just swung my bike over a leg, and this is as close as I can get. Of course, you're never going to get anything close to real life, because the technicality involved actually being good on a track, is incredible. The fitness required and everything you need. I think it's criminally underrated as a sport for how technical the sport is, and when you've been in a sport for a long time, you forget all the little details of how hard it is to do this sport, and you're on this machine that can potentially cause you huge harm, sending yourself through the air. So it's very easy to forget, as I'm sure people get better at the sport, how difficult that is. And the only way I can really relate to that is I've grown up doing martial arts my whole life. Like, I've got my black belt in judo, I'm becoming more advanced in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I've competed and fought in MMA, and it's incredible when you get a new beginner to any martial art walk through the door, and you forget all the nuances involved with what it takes to beat someone up and dismantle a human body, and the very basics that you do on a daily basis. The other person's never even considered, from tying your belt to basic posture to how to throw a punch, how to submit someone, how to you beat up a human. And although we're aggressive in nature by humans, we're not natural fighters, and most people couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. And it's almost the same with motocross. If you got someone on this CR250F now and sent them around this track, 99.9% of people are going to blow themselves to bits without any experience, and because it is such a difficult sport. And when you see the pros do it, they make it look so easy. The track looks flat. Unless you've ever been and walked around a track, you have no idea how deep ruts get and how difficult and physically demanding this machine is underneath you. It's one of, if not the most physically demanding sports in the world. So to have this game is really, for fuck's sake, get on your bike, man. It is really quite incredible, really. And yeah, you can say I'm being a little fucking pussy, nostalgic, wet wipe and all this, but I just enjoyed this game that much. And sometimes I get frustrated because my ego and everything else wants me to be so good, because I hate that I've put like 600 hours into this game and I still suck, and there's people out there that will just run circles around me. But when you actually break it down and take a step back and think, why do I play this game? This is it. This is everything. I'm quite happy to run an hour of testing on my own without any human interaction, and just enjoy the game for what it is, because in my mind it is bloody beautiful. That's very British. Bloody beautiful. Bloody corking, mate. And for all that reasons, I just think this is the best game made so far. And for you compare it to all the games that have millions of pounds of backing behind them in software developers, that game doesn't come close. And I get you have to, go for the masses, etc. But I've always wanted a motocross game to go with the F1 approach, that you can make it super easy and turn on all the assists, or you can make it super hard and you manage your own team. Like, how sick would it be to implement this physics into a high graphic game where you can run your own motocross team or ride for a motocross team and make your way up through? Of course, the financial implications and actually implementing that is hard, because the physics involved and the ever-changing track, it's difficult to replicate in the game, but the Formula 1 games have done that fantastically, and there's a whole esports around that now. But unfortunately, the money involved with F1 and motocross is night and day. We're a tiny little sport, so the backend's never going to happen. But in a dream world, I'd love to see that happen, of that everything being brought together in a game, and you start off as a privateer and you work your way up, or you can just play as a race manager and work on designing parts of the bike and everything. And I'm just such a fan of the sport and riding bikes in general. that I would love to see that happen. Oh my god, I'm going to kill myself again. I'm normally flat out on this track, but yeah, the reason I chose this track as well is because this is my go-to track. But yeah, this is it for me. Like maybe you have a different opinion, please share it. But I don't think there's anything better than this game. Sometimes when you're on a decent track and you're having a laugh with your mates, and you really step back and realise how insane this game really is, and maybe that's just me fucking thinking it. I don't know. Maybe let me know, but yeah, I just love this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one lap, see if I can do a little noise one while I'm quiet. All right, let's do it. I love this track as well. This is one of my favorite go-to testing tracks. It's one of the rare ones that I can just kind of flow in a little bit. Watch, I'll crash myself. Crash my brains out. Ah, there we go. There we go. But yeah. Also, I've downloaded this sick skin. Let me show you. Return to pit. If you made it this far, good work. I've downloaded the Ken Roxon skin that he had in Cardiff, and the numbers just don't fit very well. So if any of you guys are custom designers, it would be amazing if someone could send me the version of this with my number, which is 157 as well, because I think that's one of the nicest looking skins that was produced. It's on the MXB mods page, and it is just awesome. But yeah, that's the video in a nutshell. And I noticed on beta 18, none of my setups have come across, which is really annoying. I've lost all my setups because I had a really really good one for outdoors, and I'm a bit gutted about that. But I did see this. Eventually, we might be able to change deformation there as well, but that was just my 2 cents on the game, really. And let me know your opinion below. I'm not going to keep you around too much longer, but I think that is by far this game is just incredible, really. I wasn't able to show any fast times off because my ability to talk and put fast times in is just it's just not happening. My brain is like, nah, mate. But anyway, hope you guys are good. It's nice to be making videos again. I will catch you on the flip side.